Okay, seriously, what is that? It sounds like someone upstairs is just constantly dragging furniture around. I can't see them, can't hear them, but man, I can feel the whole ceiling shaking. You know, what if I told you that exact same problem is happening across the entire universe? We're about to dive into a cosmic mystery, one where the solution could, well, completely change how we see everything. I'm not even kidding. This is literally what astronomers are up against. They feel this shaking, this extra gravity pulling on everything, but they have no idea what's causing it. Exactly. And for years, the big question has been, is there a ghost inside our own apartment, or is the noise just coming from some really loud neighbors? Okay, so let's treat this like a real cosmic crime scene. First piece of evidence, gravity's, well, it's annoying, almost embarrassing weakness. So physicists call this the hierarchy problem, and honestly, the numbers are just wild. If you say the strong nuclear force, the stuff holding atoms together, has a strength of 1, then gravity is down at 10 to the negative 38th. That is just unbelievably weak. I mean, think about it. A little fridge magnet can pick up a paperclip against the pull of the entire Earth. So why is gravity such a weird outlier? That's our clue number 1. And clue number 2, well, that's the shaking ceiling we were talking about. See, when astronomers look at a spinning galaxy, they expect the stars on the outside to move slower than the ones in the middle, right? Just like how Pluto moves way slower than Mercury. But they don't. The stars on the edge are zipping along just as fast. The only way that's possible is if there's a ton of extra invisible mass holding the whole thing together with its gravity. And that invisible stuff, that's what we've been calling dark matter. All right, so for decades, the entire scientific community basically went on a massive ghost hunt. They had a prime suspect for this dark matter, a particle that seemed to fit the bill perfectly. And that suspect was called the WIMP. It stands for Weakly Interacting Massive Particle. So, a ghost particle, basically? You got it. The idea was our whole galaxy is swimming in these invisible particles that we can only feel through their gravity. It seemed like the perfect answer.
And the search for these WIMPs was, wow, it was one of the biggest scientific efforts of all time. I mean, we built these massive, super sensitive detectors, buried them miles underground in old mines to block out any other cosmic rays. And then we just waited. We basically sat in the dark, listening, hoping for one single WIMP to finally bump into one of our atoms and say hello.
Okay, so after all that, all those years, all that money, what did they find? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not a single confirmed WIMP detection. Our prime suspect? Totally innocent. The case went completely cold. Whoa! So you're saying we spent all this time looking for a ghost that wasn't even in our apartment? Which leads to a really crazy thought. What if the problem was never in our apartment to begin with? So this is where things get really wild. A totally new lead in the case. What if the source of all this shaking, all this gravity, isn't in our universe, but right next door? This idea comes from something called M-theory, and it's known as the brane world paradigm. And brane is just short for membrane. The idea is that our entire vast three-dimensional universe is actually just a flat surface, kind of floating in a higher dimensional space.
Wait, so we're living on a slice of bread and there's a whole loaf out there?
That's a perfect way to think about it. Exactly. And that whole loaf, that higher dimensional space, physicists call that the bulk. It's the space that holds our slice of bread, our brain, and maybe tons of other slices too. Okay. So the bulk is the apartment building itself, and we're just living on one floor.
Okay, now here's the crucial part, the part that solves everything. In this theory, all the stuff we're made of, matter, light, you and me, are like tiny open strings. Their ends are stuck to our brain. So like, jam on that slice of bread. You can't get it off the slice. Perfect. It's stuck. But gravity is different. It's a closed string, a little loop with no ends. It's not stuck to anything. It can float freely through the whole bulk. It's the sound of that piano upstairs coming right through the floorboards. It's the one force that can leak between universes.
And that single idea that gravity leaks, it connects all the dots. It explains why gravity is so weak, why galaxies spin too fast, and why we've never found a WIMP. It's time for the big reveal. Welcome to the cosmic shadow play. Hold on. Let me get this straight. You're actually seriously telling me that there could be a whole other universe with its own stars, its own galaxies, sitting maybe a millimeter away from my nose, just in another dimension? Yep,
You can't reach it, you can't touch it, but right now, you are literally being held together by its weight. We're living in a cosmic shadow play.
And just like that, this one single idea solves everything. That extra gravity holding our galaxy together, it's not dark matter. It's the ghost weight of a shadow galaxy on another Brane right next to ours, right? A galaxy we can't see because its light is like jam, stuck to its own slice of bread. And the reason gravity feels so weak to us, it's because its real strength is spread out across all the other dimensions, the whole building. And best of all, it explains why we never found any WIMPs. We were looking for a burglar in our own house, but the noise was coming from the neighbors all along.
So, this brings us to the end game. It's time to close this case. But to do that, we have to totally rethink what dark matter even is.
Yeah, because if this theory is right, dark matter might just be the worst, most misleading name in the history of science. Because it's not dark, it's just invisible to us, over in its own dimension. Exactly, and it might not even be some weird new kind of matter in the first place.
So let's just sum this up. The old theory was that the culprit was some invisible particle hiding somewhere in our room, and the new theory is that the culprit is a totally normal galaxy just hiding in the room next door. It's not a ghost, it's just a noisy neighbor.
I mean, this just changes everything. It means our entire three-dimensional world, it's just one page in a massive higher-dimensional book. Which, of course, leaves us with one last mind-bending question. What's written on the next page?